It's up there. It's happening. Welcome, everybody, to Reilly's Cantina. Pour the drinks. Welcome to the Good People Association. Here on a Tuesday, I am joined by my guest and partner and dear friend, Ken Napzok, returning to the Cantina.
Good to be back here talking motion pictures on a perfectly... I wasn't supposed to be here today.
You weren't.
That is a line... on my JR headphones are falling off. That is a line from the motion picture Dogma. It's not. But glad to be back, buddy.
It's good to have you here. Thanks for filling in. But it's a serendipitous thing that you're here because you remind me of somebody right now.
Yeah?
You have a swagger to you. You have a feeling about you. You remind me of my father. No.
Yeah.
You remind me of Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones. It's the hat.
But like the one now, not the one from our youth.
Not the one from our youth. Thank you, Ikaika, the Hawaiian hunk, pressing the buttons here. Thank you, everybody, for joining here, Reilly's Cantina, and making the Good People Association a part of your day. Go to the GPA.fun. Check out all our membership perks, stuff that we have. So much on tap for you. We have a lot to get to. If you join the Bucket Club, that's our big thing. Every month we do a bunch of things, but we're adding so much more. A newsletter is on the way. A hang is on the way. Special watch-alongs, all that, and you get a glass with your membership, your sign up. So what we're going to do here is pour a drink in our bucket.
Yeah, brought to you by the fine folks at Boone's Bourbon. This kind of looks like Raiders Lost Ark, right?
It does. Yeah, let's do this.
Belloc. She died. I forget the line.
Here we go. It's when Belloc comes in and
you want to see God? I can take you there.
You want to see God?
Yeah.
I'll take you to him. Or I'll show him yourself. I can't remember.
Boone's Bourbon is our sponsor. Homegrown Boone's Bourbon, 117 proof whiskey, brought to you by singer-songwriter Americana's own Tyler Boone. Americana,
America's own.
You know the drill.
And we got it, and we thank Tyler Boone for this amazing Boone's Bourbon that we're going to enjoy right now, because that's what we do here on Reilly's Cantina.
You know, Mark. You know who we should cheers to? Indiana Jones being back.
We're going to cheers. That's right. That is the main discussion, my friend. Here we go.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones is back. And not only is he back with Part 5, directed by James Mangold, who did Logan.
Bad dates. Thanks, Dave Taylor.
I love bad dates. It's the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark. June 12th, 1981. Raiders of the Lost Ark, and arguably a perfect movie.
I would say so.
Came out in theaters, and I am so excited to talk about that, to talk about the series, to get into a discussion about Indiana Jones. Is he the greatest action hero of all? I don't know. It's your choice. I think he is. I love it. That's nostalgia talking. I grew up with Indy. You grew up with Indy. Moramoth, thank you for the wonderful super chats and Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. You can get us there. Get some questions in. Ken and I are going to save some Star Wars talk for the bottom part of the show. You can send any questions you'd like that way. A portion of all proceeds do go to charities of our choosing. We're going to be picking one very soon, probably revealing on the live show tomorrow, 4 p.m. maybe. Are we going to be doing that?
Yeah. We also have a special guest that has something that we want to focus on, too. That's not so much a charity. It's a cool project, so that might be the thing. We'll work on that there. But we got that. And a lot of folks in our Discord, if you join the GPA.fun membership, you get access to our Discord server. And a lot of people in there, we have a section for charities, and some of our faithful have suggested some great ones in the past. We're trying to work with those ones, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything and everything, you guys, we appreciate all the donations that come in. Super chats, Streamlabs, all that good stuff. And, of course, you can go to the merch store on the GPA.fun. Get these hats, get these beanies, get these glasses, get these shirts. More on the way as we reveal it very soon. But I see everybody in there. And Trey T, yes. I believe you meant Part 4, Mark, when I said that Indy 5 was filming.
I don't mind Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
It has grown on me.
We can talk about that.
We will talk about it, but we're going to go back to the beginning. We're going to go to 1981. Ken, when I asked you to come on to fill in, I had a guest that was had to move things. Yeah, it's time to... I will be welcoming Andrew Guy in once we can get the schedules in. But thank you for filling in, Ken, because it is serendipitous. Indy 5 has just started filming. There's already some leaks out there. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful.
I'm not covering those. I don't want to cover those. I want to be surprised with Indiana Jones 5, whatever they're going to call it. We don't know yet. Spielberg pulled back. He was going to direct it.
Yeah.
It's now under Disney. Mangold steps in.
I like that.
I'm really excited about it. Logan is one of the great superhero movies of all time. I think the last run for Indiana Jones, last run for Logan, Mangold has got it all locked up. I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
But if we go back to Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ken.
1981.
1981.
That's crazy.
Do you remember the first time? I mean, maybe not in 1981, but another time. What do you remember about seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time?
This is a great question because I saw Temple of Doom in the theater, and I was, as I've said before, was part of the generation why they needed to create a PG-13 after they heard my screams. We're like, perhaps we should warn parents about this.
And they heard mine in the next theater watching Gremlins.
Never forget my dad and his friend Bill and his two kids and me, and just Bill and my dad looking at each other going, oh, I don't know if we might be in trouble for that one. Temple of Doom scared me. But so my point being, I don't remember, whereas Star Wars I have a pretty distinct memory. Return of the Jedi was my first in theaters, other than being one and seeing New Hope. Then saw New Hope, and then saw Empire last. But all happened so fast, it just feels like I saw them at the same time. I don't remember when I saw Raiders.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the first time, but there is a vivid memory that just came to me. Robbie Brubaker, his house, down the street from me. We would ride go-karts everywhere. We would go on our bikes everywhere. I distinctly remember sitting down and watching Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
And his father sitting in this old orange lazy chair.
Sure.
Comes back, and I remember him just doing this.
Just the Leo DiCaprio point.
It's a good movie.
I know that guy.
It's a good movie, and I remember Indy running from the natives after Belloc.
Right.
Steals the idol back from him.
Yeah.
And I just remember loving it. And then that movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, became part of the rotation with Star Wars.
Yeah.
With Empire Strikes Back, with Superman the movie.
Yeah.
Those were the big ones that I was watching around that time.
Yeah, Raiders came shortly after on VHS, probably, for me, and I loved it. And as much as I'm known for and am a Star Wars person and Star Wars pundit, Indiana Jones is my favorite cinematic character. And also, I loved the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I was a fan of that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I just love the character. I love, partially because he's not unlike Han Solo, and Harrison's great at kind of being himself in a role in a way, but Indy's fallible. He is a bumbling fool at times. He gets himself into trouble and sometimes can't get out of it. And there's just something appealing and endearing about that, even though at times he's a bit gruff, and I'm a bit gruff.
He's a big gruff, but he doesn't believe in that hocus pocus at the time in Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
He had his hands on the idol. And he's almost killed. I mean, however many times. I mean, he's almost killed by Alfred Molina, one of his very first parts.
I think that was his first role.
Yeah, it wasn't. It might have been.
Check me on that, though. But
he almost gets shot in the back by one of his dudes there that's hanging around. That's before he even gets in the cave in the temple. Yep. And then he contends with all the booby traps. He then runs into Belloc, a boulder. Right. A bunch of villagers with spears and arrows and all this kind of stuff, the Jovitos. Oh, my God, I pulled that. And he runs away. Then he gets in a plane with a snake, which literally almost scares him to death again.
The snake's name is?
Oh, that's just my pet snake, Reggie.
Reggie. Yeah.
That's a good one, too. And then he lands. He's back home, and he's a professor, and he's all stuffed up, and he's like fine and everything. And then these guys come and go, oh, this Ark. And Indy's like, yeah, let's do it again. Like, Indy has an impetus behind it that he's like, I want fortune and glory, and I'm going to risk my life to get these things. Right. When he should really be, teaching archaeology at college.
We're not here to debate it, but, like, I've seen Temple of Doom the least, not counting Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom doesn't hold up for me as much as it does for other folks. For very myriad reasons, but and I love the Club Obi-Wan sequence though. I love the Club up to Dan Aykroyd's cameo, everything. I'm there for that. I don't want to have a snake surprise, but I enjoy parts of that sequence. A lot of stuff there. But in Temple of Doom, he doesn't teach at all, right? And there's not a moment where he's in class, because from Club Obi-Wan, they're in the ship, they're in the plane, and they can escape.
He never makes it back to...
So I remember going back and watching Raiders, and I was confused as all get out as to why he was a teacher.
That's right. Ben Homelli is not even in it.
7 going, why is he in a classroom?
That's
Mom and Dad had explained, well, he's a college professor.
He's a college professor.
College professors can't have other jobs.
No, this daring do that he's doing, I don't understand it. Ikaika, what do you got, man?
Temple of Doom takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark, so maybe he wasn't even was he not a teacher before that, maybe?
No, he was. He was. Yeah.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
He comes in his white tuxedo, looking dapper as all get out.
Club Obi-Wan sequence is great. I
one
really
of my
do
favorites.
love that. I love that.
And I do love Temple of Doom. We'll get there. I think we'll go through the series.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
But Raiders, but I did want to bring this up. A colleague of ours, Vinny Mancuso over there at Collider, did this great piece.
Never heard of
it. On that Big Bang Theory that said Raiders of the Lost Ark, that movie would still happen. All the same things would happen if Indiana Jones wasn't even a part of this own movie.
Right.
Therefore, negating the character arc, negating the story, and in general, just being one of those hot takes that I just find really dumb.
It's the
so
take
dumb.
of take Chewbacca out of Star Wars. Does he change any part of the story? And it's like, why don't you just leave the theater?
If you're asking that
let
question,
us enjoy this.
Yeah, Indiana Jones had the idol in his hand, wanted fortune and glory. Risked, to die, all these things, then is told by Marcus Brody, Denholm Elliott, you can't do this, man.
Yeah.
And he goes, when can I go get this arc? And he's like, everywhere Indy goes, all of the characters around Indy are warning him, don't do this.
Don't do it.
Sala's like, this is, well of souls, this blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, I better go in. And finally, at the very end, Indy closes his eyes to avoid the arc because he finally believes.
He believes.
And he realized I want to live because I love this woman with me here, Marion. But please close your eyes, Marion. Yeah. And that's it's a character arc.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You take Indiana Jones out of the movie, you're not going to watch the movie.
It's one of those things, and good for them fighting against it. It's like, sure. What are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? This is the problem with movie punditry over the last 5 years. So let's celebrate Indy, man.
Let's celebrate
Raiders.
Indy.
You talk about punditry. Raiders being considered like one of those perfect films. Back to the Future comes to mind. Whatever it is.
Back to the Future, Star Wars.
So New Hope. I could care either way about that conversation about perfect, but you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, and like I always said, like Last Crusade, not unlike Return of the Jedi, has a special kind of place in my heart because as a youngster, I saw it and I love it a little bit more, even though it's a little lather, rinse, repeat, which was part of the design, as we know from Spielberg and George following the Depression divorce years.
Right.
But Raiders, man, what are your favorite moments in Raiders? Like
Raiders of the Lost. Yeah, I love the map room scene when he finds it, the music, when he discovers it, and he gets the medallion, the music. The fact that the joy when he finds it, the great setup before that was like they have the medallion, and they get the guy finally to read it, and he's like, and turns it over, and everybody's like,
and Tot, right?
Yeah.
Which a character in Solo, one of Dryden Voss's henchmen, the guy at the door, is named after Tot. It's an homage to Tot.
Nice. That's great.
So I love when you realize he's done wrong.
They're digging in the wrong place. They say it at the same time. It's such a great moment. But I think probably my favorite part of that movie that I would love watching over and over again is the basket chase with Marion and the swordsman and the music, and when everybody comes after Indy and he's got to make do. Yeah. And the legendary story that they always tell that Harrison Ford, Indiana. I love that. Ooh, that's Last Crusade. He had dysentery.
Yeah, he
while
wasn't
shooting in
wasn't
Tunisia.
feeling
He wasn't
well.
feeling real well. And he goes, "Why not I just shoot the guy?"
Right.
And that's what came.
Which I love, because by now, who knows? Maybe that's like completely fat. You know, that's just one of those because back in the day, in the 80s, you grew up with that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you hear Mark Hamill was in a car accident. Yeah, some truth to it, but like you didn't know. You didn't know. You heard and that was one of those Harrison ones that just, you know, it might be even more fantastic than the actual truth, but print the legend.
Yeah.
You think you're right. And you mention it. Like, I think the introduction of this Boone's Bourbon's tasting good today.
It's going down real fast.
The introduction of Marion Ravenwood is a lesson in how to introduce a character, tell a story. She's one of the best characters of all time on screen, I think, for me in that first movie. And again, talking Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a second. But her introduction with that drinking contest when Indy shows up, I'm your goddamn partner. Everything about it, including the little scandalous stuff around them and maybe her age. You know, Indy's problematic at times in real life. You know, Indiana, come on, man, come on, Indiana.
Yeah. Should have said no on that one.
Yeah, but you know, with all the stuff about Abner and everything, that opening sequence from the moment she put, and the way I wish I had an empty glass. The way they put down the empty shot glasses. To them showing up. I love that sequence.
Do you know I would? That might be mine. I can't believe I didn't remember that, because even when he shows up, the silhouette in the doorway, her seeing it with the
and they're just flipping around.
She throws him down and turns
because the Nazis already visit her, right? And she lies. Kicks him out.
He visits first. She lies.
Yeah, that's right.
I got to find it.
That's right.
Then they show up.
It's been a minute. I've been about 2 years since I've lost Raiders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch Raiders. I'm gonna correct that.
It's
this
making
weekend.
me want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then her reveal of just her secret. That whole sequence. You want to write an adventure serial screenplay. You're looking for that. That sequence is the big winner. I just absolutely love that.
That is, yeah. And you know, talk about, these are the women we grew up with, Ken, I want to say, because I'm falling in love with Princess Leia a year earlier.
Yeah.
You know, from Empire Strikes Back. You know, we talked about it on the Positivity Report this morning, your sexual awakening.
Oh, yours was Han Solo?
Mine was Princess Leia and Hothgear.
Yeah, okay.
That was it.
Yeah, that too.
That was
No.
and then Marion, and then Karen Allen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, the Temple of Doom thing with Kate Capshaw and everything. Yeah. Willie's part of the reason I don't gravitate to movies, but I understood what they were doing. I understand it was the opposite. It was the complete opposite. It was in the off years when he hadn't reunited with Marion. So I got it.
Yeah.
I also like
it's a prequel.
I do like Allison Doody coming later on.
Allison Doody is what's her Elsa. Thank you very much.
Dr. Elsa Snyder.
Yep.
Young, she was like 21 when she did that film.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Wow,
you know,
that makes sense.
Let's get into a little more age appropriate, but that seems to be a problem with them, anyways.
Right.
And you know, trivia of her, Peter Jackson wanted Allison Doody in Lord of the Rings and Liv Tyler's part.
Really?
She couldn't do it because
she couldn't do it.
Couldn't commit to New Zealand for a year or 2 years living there.
Boy, I missed that one, I guess. But she was great in that. Yeah, Indiana Jones. The template of Indiana Jones was always James Bond.
Yeah,
it was always Spielberg celebrating Close Encounters and Star Wars on the beach, in Hawaii. So the story goes. He goes, I got your next movie. I want to make a James Bond movie. Right. And Luke goes, I'll do you one better. Indiana Smith. The archaeologist.
Indiana Smith.
And he goes, huh? And he goes,
the close calls.
Call it Indiana Jones.
Could you imagine there's actually sorry, I'm literally doing our thumbnail work because we have a last second cancellation on the Positivity Report.
This is what we do here.
I'm the tech guy right now behind the scenes.
I'm the host right now, pouring myself more Boone's Bourbon. Can't do it like Macuga. Boone's Bourbon, thank you very much. Tyler Boone, homegrown bourbon, sponsoring the Good People Association right now. Go check it out as soon as you can. Pour yourself a cold one, a tall one, a neat one. I don't know what they say. I'm pouring myself some more. That's all I know.
What's Ken doing? He's not paying attention to the show. No, he is. He's also prepping the show for tomorrow morning at 9 on air. We are truly a 4-person operation.
We are.
And 90% of that is done by Ikaika.
That is also correct. Just ahead in the show, everybody, we are going to be talking about the Black Panther rumors that Namor is actually going to be appearing in this movie. I'll get to that in film bits. Bunch of news little bits that we're going to talk about, but I wanted to go into the Indiana Jones conversation to start. So
yeah, because we got the big 40th anniversary, but also
fifth movie has started filming.
The little tiny set leaks of the photos and everything, which are normally I don't follow that kind of set leak stuff, but man, that's just got me excited, man.
It's got me very excited, and it has David Taylor also excited here with a super chat. Thank you, my friends. He says, saw Raiders of the Lost Ark for the first time in the theater this afternoon. After watching it countless times at home, love the theatrical experience. David, thank you so much for the super chat to share that story with you. Isn't it great?
That's great.
Going to see that movie, especially that movie. That's what movies are made for. And Ikaika, what'd you have, man?
I was just going to say, I was looking at movies playing at AMC right now, and it's Raiders of the Lost Ark is playing at multiple.
Oh, I saw
re-released it.
Yeah,
Look at that.
I saw it at the AMC Burbank about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They had a big event poster, got an exclusive poster, and it was just because I had not seen that one in theaters.
Right.
And so to see it was truly an experience.
It is, and I do feel it is a perfect movie. I love it so much. We can go back and forth on our favorite moments and all that, but let's get to Temple of Doom. Let's go along with this series.
I'm almost done with this work. I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening. People.
I'm queuing the audience up here. If you have any thoughts on any of the movies, including Crystal Skull, the apparent fourth movie in the series, some people just purely don't want it. They're like, no, that movie doesn't exist. And we'll get there. We'll talk about it. Temple of Doom is one of my favorites. I remember walking into the theater and seeing the poster where it's Indy without the leather jacket, arms down, holding a machete, standing at the entrance of a tunnel, and it really stuck with me because Raiders became a thing. It became an event. It became a franchise that, and this is original stuff here. And it was the golden age of Hollywood for me, where you could get people writing an original screenplay and get it made.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be based on anything.
Yeah, it's tough now, huh?
It's tough now. I mean, we kind of went into it like last week, or the last Reilly's Cantina, how it's like Star Wars created a brand, created the source material. Now it's like, they're going to go off in spin-offs and all these. But, I mean, aside from, in my mind, Superman and Jaws even in that era being based on source material, everything was kind of like these great movies were being written for the screen. E.T., Goonies, Star Wars, Alien, Star Wars sequels, obviously, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark.
In
Gremlins.
1982 alone, there were so many great movies. In fact, that'd be the subject of a good documentary. Maybe one that our friend Scott Mantz, who's going to be our guest tomorrow on the main show, has plans for. Stay tuned for that.
I cannot wait. I'm so happy for that, because that is the best year in geek.
The best year in geeking up is Indy in your cup.
What? In your... Yeah.
What?
What? Oh, my God. So, Temple of Doom. Tell me why. So, it just... Was it the time... You haven't revisited in a while?
No, about a year ago I did.
Okay.
So, again, really huge fan of the Club Obi-Wan sequence. I had no problem with that. Everything... And again, there's some elements of the story that now we as society look at and go, hey, some of the white savior tropes and some stuff that people will consider problematic. Let's, for the sake of this conversation, take that and just kind of put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
All right, that's something else to discuss another time. Let's just see what the movie... This is 83, 84 this came out? After Jedi?
84.
So,
right, 84, I believe, Temple of Doom
of a certain era, of a certain time. I'm always happy that we have higher standards and continue to grow our standards for storytelling.
Absolutely.
Let's just take the movie for what it is right there. After it is the darkness of the film for me, and the Molaron stuff and everything, and yes, I get freaked out as a kid. I'm not a huge possession guy. I don't like when people get possessed and kind of do things out of their control without any agency.
Right.
It to me doesn't impact. It's the way it impacts the characters works differently.
Yeah, Indy was a bad man.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of things, but I think some of it is the stunts don't hold up as much. Some of the look and feels it is of its time, whereas Raiders doesn't come off like that to me.
Yeah.
But all that I can't hold that against the film. Right. It's just when I watch it, I don't like those. What are they? Gators, crocodiles eating that? Like it's like, come on.
Look at those chappas.
But I just don't feel it's fair to the film to hold that against it.
Right.
I just don't gravitate. I got to tell you, I need Indy against Nazis or Cold War Russians, which part of my background, upbringing.
Yeah, well, Indy kind of the Nazi angle with that returned in Last Crusade. It kind of gave Indy that kind of. Not identity, but it's like you picture Indy fighting Nazis. That's my Indy.
Yeah, do I want to see other stuff? Because again, I love the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things, Brian Ward, our great Brian Ward, does these graphics and
in the chat right now, my friend, Brian Ward.
He says something about Temple of Doom that it's not Temple of Doom's fault, but I started to build a little resentment towards Temple after this. I'll say I've only seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull once. Yep. In theaters in, 2008?
2006.
8, something, whatever it was. 2008, Ikaika says?
No, it's 2006.
8. I was in high school. It was 2008.
I think it was 2008. I know who I was dating at the time. And we saw it.
Yeah, I had an ex-wife. Yeah. It was my ex-wife that I saw it. I thought it was 2006.
I think it was 8.
Yeah.
He'll look it up. But
let's look it up.
So caveat being I only saw it once. The fridge sequence.
2008.
The fridge sequence in
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. I saw that and was like, "That's awesome!" And I came out and people were like, "Ah!" And Brian says what I've always thought: people rip the fridge scene, but the raft scene in Temple Doom is more insane, and that I agree with.
Yeah,
them escaping the plane, fun. I got no problem with it, but you can't celebrate that and then bash the other one. I just don't think it's fair.
I never had a problem with the nuke the fridge scene.
Right.
It made sense. He went, and I laughed. I was like, "This is great."
Because it's also at the time. It's also post World War II. We're in the nuke era. We're in the Cold War era.
The Cold War. Yeah.
The aliens, Area 51. Like and this Crystal Skulls were going to be another plot point. I think in Young Indiana Jones Chronicles.
Yeah.
Lucas had that one in his back pocket for a long time.
Right.
He wanted to do it. It's a real thing for what it in a roundabout way.
Well, you think about it. You think about his inspiration. Putting Indiana Jones in the 50s during the Cold War, right? That's the height of aliens and your B-movie creature from outer space, you know, that War of the Worlds, those kind of things. So it's that kind of serialized filmmaking where you put Indy in that kind of idea. But then you have the hallmarks of Indy taking on the bad guys or the Russians in this case. It was hard. It was hard to find that balance.
Yeah.
I had a real problem with Shia LaBeouf's character. I thought wasn't written very well, and then they did lose me on the monkey scene.
Look, there's Ikaika and I were talking off air before the show. Some of those, not even the effects, but the set pieces and some of the stuff, yes, did not work for me. Some of the concepts, moments, dialogue, characters, I was there for a lot of that, and that's why I'm very curious. Grace and I are going to revisit it. But yeah, some of that stuff, and that's fair. And it was an overcooked movie.
Yeah.
That a lot of writing changes, director changes, and a lot of years in development.
Oh,
and that can sometimes happen.
Yeah, Frank Darabont famously on that. And that was my one brush with Frank Darabont was I was working at a production company at the time that had a deal with Darabont that they unfortunately never got off the ground. But he came in for a meeting, and he was writing the Indiana Jones thing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And they were prying, and I was sitting in the back. I was just an assistant, but I'm sitting in the back going, oh, my God. And then he was let go because Lucas famously wanted to make this story, and people that couldn't pull it off were let go.
I don't know if you've heard this before.
Yeah.
George is pretty protective and possessive of his ideas, even if they're sometimes crazy.
You know, it's weird. It's something to look at. It's something to admire.
Yeah.
George Lucas can do whatever.
I do admire it.
Whatever he wants. And look, whether you like it or not, I thought there were some great moments in Crystal Skull. We jumped ahead, and that's okay because
we come back to Last Crusade.
Yeah, we're going to come back to Last Crusade. But Crystal Skull had some magic to it from time to time. I thought Karen Allen's character, to your point, the great introduction of her in Raiders was she was a returning character, so I don't think you had to do that. But she just seemed to be in the back seat.
They didn't know what to do.
They didn't know what to do with her in that. Marion was kicking ass in Raiders.
Yeah.
And in Crystal Skull, it's like she's not really the same Marion in my eyes. But that's, again, years later. That's the writing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Going to a super chat here. Thank you, our friend, Jen Maddle, thank you for this. For Temple of Doom, she writes, I just really remember the bridge scene depicted in Mad Magazine or something, and it was hysterical. Indy just shrugging his shoulders going, hey, guys. I remember that Mad Magazine one.
Mm-hmm. I do remember
it was him. It was the mad guy with the machete on the bridge. That's the part. That's my favorite part of Temple of Doom.
Oh, and I had the lunchbox of that. I remember a lunchbox.
Yeah.
So little Kenny, after he put up his G.I. Joe lunchbox and his Return of the Jedi lunchbox, had the Indiana Jones on the bridge lunchbox. I might be remembering that wrong. Maybe I just was on a bridge with a machete.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
But that was that scene on the bridge when he just goes, you know what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And short round is like, hold on, honey, we're going for a ride.
Yeah.
That's a great moment. That was fun. Temple of Doom for me. Still, I love it. I love the darkness of it. I love the weirdness of it. I love that the legend again. You know, they came up with Indiana Smith on the beach.
Yeah.
The legend is like George Lucas gets divorced and he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write the F out of this movie.
Yeah,
and it was dark.
Spielberg and Amy Irving break up, and
Spielberg
and their
Amy
relationship,
Irving.
and they're both in a spot. And I don't hold anything against the movie. It never hit me. I think I was a little traumatized as a kid.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing: I go from Temple of Doom, where I'm a little confused. The Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm like, whoa. And then Last Crusade, I'm in the theater for, obviously a little older, and that one was my favorite for a very long time until I maybe appreciated Raiders on a more intellectual level as a kid studying screenwriting in college. But Last Crusade had everything for me there.
Yeah, Last Crusade. Now let's move on to it officially. Bringing in a genius casting, Sean Connery coming in, and I remember the poster. And we will get to it. They don't make them like they used to, Ken. We're going to get to at the very end of the show, we're going to look at all the great posters from the Indiana Jones franchise. It's a special segment that we do here on Reilly's Cantina, that when we want to talk about great posters, I always remind the folks watching at home or listening, please, if you have your ideas, some great poster suggestions, hit me up on Twitter, @ReillyAround. I will make a post where you guys will share your favorite posters for a future episode. But we're going to get to that. But that poster is Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones. The man in a hat returns, and this time he's bringing his dad.
Right.
Was the tagline for Last Crusade.
I think Connery was 2 weeks older than Harrison Ford. Now,
2 weeks older.
He was older.
They're like the same age.
And I think we're in a weird spot where Harrison Ford's like much older than Connery was in Last Crusade.
Yeah. He was. There we go. Look at that. Thank you, Ikaika.
Ikaika, put your face back in there.
You can put your face back in there. Show us the background there. That's a great scene.
Junior,
what? Dad,
what?
Best line is, she talks in her sleep.
She talks in her sleep. Dr. Jones and Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
No ticket. Yeah. What was great about what was it about Last Crusade for everybody that it was a return to greatness, right? It just felt more Indiana Jones. What was it?
It wasn't even that Temple didn't feel that to me. But yeah, it was a little bit of that. It was I think it's the father-son themes are strong, but even when I'm 13 sitting in a theater, I'm not like, oh, the father-son themes are really strong, and you're reacting to something completely different. And I really like the spiritual nature of that one and Raiders of the Lost Ark, maybe because I was a vacation Bible school kid going, I've heard of the Ark of the Covenant and this and that more than stuff in Temple. So maybe was Jen Maddle actually brings up the River Phoenix. I loved the opening sequence.
The opening scene is so incredible. River Phoenix is just. It's such a tragedy he was gone too soon because you look at that movie and you're like, this kid can do anything.
Yeah.
And he lifts the whip and Williams gives the little Indy flourish. But it's not fully expressed in that time of the theme. So you get that history. You get him running. You get the idea of where Indy got his look because he gets the hat from the dude that has the Cross of Magellan. What do you got, Ikaika?
That first whole sequence, that song is like the best out of the entire series of the whole from inside the caves all the way to the train to the end.
The music,
it's like you can listen to that and it's the whole journey of Indiana Jones.
It really is.
Yeah,
da,
good
da, da, and then he lifts his head up and he's batting and he's da 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 and
there's that
and he never learns. Indy never learns. He goes after all those years. It's pretty much the same Indy. He couldn't let that cross go? The cross of Coronado.
Yeah.
And so he had to go find it again.
Yeah, just everything.
And almost dies.
And Star Drew said, and how his dad and Indy did not get along when they were young, and that again the father-son themes, and that later on you can pick up on that kind of stuff in life. The whole Last Crusade's like a Harry Chapin song, "Cats in the Cradle," but just and how
that's how it got me.
You talk about Lucas and his big lessons of attachment, and that he teaches in Star Wars, and what that really means, and how that can destroy you from within in many different kind of ways. It's so at play there, and you see what happens to Elsa Snyder, and all
that gets you talk about the Cats in the Cradle and the like,
silver spoon
when
blue and the man,
and I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it.
Oh yeah, cry. Here,
Indiana, Indiana, and he turns.
Yeah.
Because the whole time, Junior, don't call me that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's like he steps in, he falls into that father thing.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense. The great Sean Connery doing it. I tell you, one of my favorite scenes there is they're escaping the Nazis from the castle, and they're on the motorcycle, and he's in the sidecar, and and Indy's taking out Nazis left and right, and he takes a flag, jousts a guy, then sees the tire right there, and he goes, "Oh, I know what to do." And he jams it in there. You see the motorcycle flip in the air. It's wonderful sequence, action and everything. And Indy goes and smiles, and he looks over at his dad, and his dad's like, I just fucking love it.
No,
sorry, I dropped an F-bomb and on purpose.
Jared Kozel also says one of my favorite quotes, "You lost today, kid, but that doesn't mean you have to like it." I mean, there's a lot of...
That's a great one.
A lot of stuff. And I think that maybe they felt at the time they were kind of wrapping up. And Spielberg said it was redemption. Like, we knew we kind of did something a little different in Temple of Doom that didn't go as well as maybe we wanted. Not saying a quality movie, but just like we were in a different spot. We wanted to come back and do this right and send it home.
Yeah.
They had no idea later on they'd be doing this again, of course. So there's so much about it. I mean, my friend and Blair and I back in high school, the amount of times we look at each other and just one of us would go, "We do have tapestries," and we just like for no reason.
Where are your tapestries?
Yeah,
this is a castle. Where are your tapestries?
I'm Mickey Mouse.
And I'm Mickey Mouse. Hamstracked with a super chat here. We also have some Streamlabs coming in if you want to get anything in for a little bit of Star Wars discussion and then our poster discussion and some news bits that we're going to get to. Feel free. It's streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa. Hamstrack, thank you for this. Would have loved to see Crystal Skull lean into Indy being accused of communism more. They introduced it, but it went nowhere. Yeah, I did like that idea, like the McCarthy era of this,
huge,
oh, you're a communist. It's the Cold War. We got it. Yeah, that would have been very interesting. I think, but with Indy, it's like you got to get him out and about because it's an adventure. He's, but that is an interesting.
I mean, that was a play. That was a play in real life. I can assure you that my family, my dad's family, came over from Russia in '51. So, I can assure you that was strong. A lot of that stuff there. Yeah, it's. The Last Crusade stuff, just the night, and it's far fetched. And that's the thing it's Raiders is far fetched too when you think about it. But it's so done so well you don't think about it. And Last Crusade had that thing too. It's like you get the Knight, you get the Grail, you got a lot of things that are just out there, and that's why I go to not to harp on Crystal Skull, but like some of the stuff in Crystal Skull, I'm like, it tracks. Whether it was fully executed correctly, I'm not dying on a Crystal Skull hill. I'm just saying, I don't think it missed as much as people thought it did. I think because of some of the things in the other movies. Yeah,
and the thing with the movies, it's so funny. The thing with the movies is that we're dealing in like kind of religious artifacts, religion, the magic of the Ark opening up, melting faces, the magic of the stones, and then the Holy Grail is the Holy Grail of artifacts, right?
Man shall pass. The penitent man shall pass.
Name what's the name of God?
Well, Jehovah,
but in the Latin alphabet, Jehovah starts with an I.
Yeah.
Yes. Ryan Onman, thank you for the Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa here. I really enjoyed the watch along of Raiders of the Lost Ark with Ken a few years ago. Any chance we'll get something like that at the GPA for members? I would like a Total Recall or Temple of Doom watch along. We do, Ryan. We do have a watch along coming up that we're going to be announcing soon. One of our big live stream events, Streamapalooza 2. We raised enough money for Josh Macuga to watch Paranormal Activity 3. Is that correct? We're going to be watching
Yes,
that? Okay.
yes.
More watch-alongs in the future, absolutely. If you're members, drop in some suggestions in Discord. We're always listening, and we would love to do stuff like that.
When did I do Raiders watch-alongs? I don't do watch-alongs.
I do not. This is...
I don't remember doing that.
With Lost Ark with Ken a few years ago.
I don't like those.
Yeah. Did I do it?
I don't know.
Was it me? Was it a Collider?
I can't remember.
No, Indiana Jones. That'd be weird.
Yeah, that's
Ryan,
great.
explain yourself.
I've blocked that out of my mind.
You don't have to send us more money either, Ryan, if you want to jump into the chat here, and I'll try to
did
watch
you
for
do it? Did you do the watch-along?
Did you do the watch-along?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember.
All this is to say, Indiana Jones is one of my favorite characters. I think he is one of the greatest action heroes because of his fallibility, because of his everyman quality, because of his stubbornness, because he has that look on his face when he pulls it off. He's always like,
yeah.
He's just like, he has this Harrison Ford like, it reminds me so much of just real life. Like, I do that.
The key to Indiana Jones is how well he can take a punch, he can take a lick and keep on taking. And there was something about it. Like, I do love Bond, but Bond is silky smooth. But that's why I love the Daniel Craig Bonds, because I feel there's some
He's
spirit.
more rough and tumble.
There's rough and tumble. There's more of an Indiana Jones spirit in those. But our friend Mike Beatrice, guest on Internet for Old People, Schmoes writer back in the day.
Yeah.
This is when they were doing the whole Chris Pratt rumor of the reboot and everything.
You remember this?
And Beatrice wrote something about that, and he wrote a fun kind of hot takey kind of style, cheeky. But like his point was, and we've talked about it today. He's like, we all felt we could still be Indiana Jones, and especially as you get older and someone younger comes along to play the role, you no longer have that fantasy. It's like when you get older than Major League Baseball managers. You're like, am I that old now? Oh my God, we felt Indiana Jones was attainable in some way.
Yeah. I mean, the best description I've heard of Indiana Jones's character came from David Collins in the soundtrack show when he covered the actual theme, and he breaks down in the music Indy's character goes da 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 da, takes a few steps forward,
right.
Punched, ba da da, goes back,
right.
Ba da da da, he's gonna succeed, da 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 da. Then comes back. Da 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 da. It's like this back and forth. Indy succeeding, failing, but ultimately succeeding and winning and saving the world.
Ryan gave our answer. Says, we watched Raiders Lost Ark on Ken's channel like around 2018. I do remember that now. It was old. What was that thing you could watch? You could everyone could get in a chat room and watch. Now there's like 20.
Scener?
There's something else similar, but it was right before that. Rabbit. Thank you.
Rabbit.
Thank you,
oh, that's right. I used to do that on my old Patreon.
Yeah,
that's
R.I.P.
Right.
You're
Tim
right,
Rice.
Ryan. Good call.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. Tim Rice in with a super chat. I thought Big Bang Theory proved his actions in Raiders. He contributed nothing to the plot. Yeah, we opened with that discussion, Tim, and the Big Bang Theory is wrong. I just hate it.
Well, I mean, that's also
I mean,
possibly one of the worst, most insulting geek culture shows.
I never got into
history
it.
Of
and Tim, I appreciate you writing it. I don't like that take because I do believe it's a hot take because it is correct. I mean, if you take the plot point or you remove Indy from it, then the Nazis would have just found the Ark and melted their faces off, and Indiana Jones could have just had some coffee at his house. But that's not. But we're not going to these movies for the plot of a movie. We're going for the themes and the characters and how the characters react. We identify with character. We care what characters do. If these characters aren't great, and the plot of the movie overshadows the character, then it's not that fun. You have to identify with these characters. Indy, for me, was the everyman, and that he tried and he tried and he tried and he tried and he tried, and ultimately he couldn't stop the Nazis from getting it, but it was his faith. It was his understanding, his character's arc, his journey. He looks at Marion, he says, close your eyes. I don't need it anymore. I believe. I know there's magic in that thing. He said earlier to Denholm Elliott's Marcus Brody, he said, hocus pocus, you're talking about the boogeyman. He doesn't believe that stuff. At the very end, he believes it, and he goes, you know what? Faith. Close your eyes, Marion. I want to save you because he's in love with Marion. And all the Nazis are burned away by this magical thing. The Big Bang Theory, I think, was just a hot take. It was a part of a show. It's yes, in certain circles you can look at it and say, yeah, you can remove the characters. The outcome would be the same. He's a character that we care about. That's why I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's why I think it's a perfect movie. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, did you have something?
Miriam probably would have died from the Nazis trying to take her thing, which he saved her.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Right, exactly. Myra Moth again in the super chat. I really appreciate it, my friend. Also helped inspire the Prince of Persia games. That's correct. Yeah, I remember that. Over at Streamlabs, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I saw a couple coming in. Ryan, again, thank you very much for that. Looks like, yeah, we're good. Ken, let's get to some news now that Indiana Jones 5 is happening. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be coming out next year, right? When do they date that thing? I forget. But Ikaika, if you can look that up for me, because I want to know. I cannot wait to see what Mangold did. I was a little upset when Spielberg dropped out. But Mangold, what do you think of Mangold? What does everybody think of Mangold taking over as director?
That's a good whip around the room. I love it. I am a huge fan of Logan. Mm-hmm. You know me, I'm not a giant superhero movie fan, and that one just was something else.
That one's just
something spectacular.
Deep. That's deep.
I was excited at the possible Mangold Star Wars Boba Fett kind of stuff that was going on.
Oh yeah, that's
didn't happen as we know, but excited about that. So I think it's a good fix. And I Spielberg's a Hall of Famer, man.
Yeah,
this is a Hall of Famer, and I still think he's hitting the ball out of the park.
Right,
and he's a threat in the batter's box. But there's something I liked about this kind of a handing of the baton. It's gonna happen one day if we're gonna continue on.
Yeah.
We got the last spot to do it. I'm a fan of the modern era of Star Wars stuff, of just like, whether George wanted to or not, though he sold the company, of just like really kind of exploring it in a new generation. And Mangold's not some young pickle trying to make a sandwich here. He's that's, I don't know what that means. That was like a weird. That was like a Marv Albert kind of like weird kind of.
We're not talking about the pickle in the sandwich here. We're talking about the Ark in the Covenant.
I said Marv Albert. Ouch, my back hurts. But Dan Rather, just like, ain't no pickle making a sandwich. I love Dan Rather quotes. It's like the old, the birds come to eat the worm and the nest is still full. What, Dan? What are you talking about?
It's like when the purple people eater comes to town every Halloween third night and eats the kids.
Yeah. So anyways, I'll just say I'm a fan of it in theory. Obviously execution is the key. I like it there. So that's my take. Ikaika?
Yeah. Ikaika, what do you think?
July 28th, 2022.
2022. We got a year this July 28th. Mm-hmm. They're filming right now. That makes sense.
Right.
Mangold, I am excited about. I mean, the man's last movie was Ford versus Ferrari, and it was one of my favorite movies of that year.
Right. So that was Harrison Ford versus Pete Ferrari?
That's correct.
Oh, that's a great picture.
It was a very good one.
Great picture.
All right, everybody. Super chats, always welcome. Streamlabs.com/goodpeopleGPA if you have a question in there you want to get to. We are going to cover this real quick. The Illuminati. This new, I haven't heard of this site yet, but a lot of people are covering this. Makes a lot of sense to me. Empire Magazine, or Empire, right now I'm looking at Empire Online, saying that we might get Namor finally in Black Panther, the second movie in the Black Panther series for the MCU. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Namor is they're saying that Tenoch Huerta, rumored as Namor for the Black Panther sequel, and this site allegedly claims that they have uncovered it.
Uncovered it.
Huerta, I'm trying to find out what else he has done. I'm not familiar with the actor, but
Narcos Mexico.
That's right.
Narcos. Great.
I think it's great casting. The way the character looks. I'm looking at his picture and I'm like, yeah, I like this. Namor, I know, Ken, you're not a big, source material comics guy, but
I feel we should call Matt Key in.
Yeah, we need Matt Key. Matt Key needs to be on Riley's
Marvel
Cantina.
movie news guy, but
for Namor has been rumored for a while now. Namor was also, the rights were kind of mangled in Universal. Mangold.
Okay.
Hey, look at that, bringing that back around. Alongside Hulk. And so they were trying to figure it out. But if this is correct, it makes perfect sense. We had, in Endgame, we had a little Easter egg that a lot of people called out, Ken, is that there was an earthquake off the coast of Wakanda, and everybody, all the nerds, including me, went, oh, Namor. That's Namor. That's Namor.
This sounds great, man. I love Black Panther.
Black Panther is one of my favorite MCUs.
Tragic loss with Boseman, but let's keep this world and this place going. What am I to expect and get excited for about Namor?
Ikaika, tell me what you know about Namor, because I myself am not very well versed in this particular character. I know he has a lot of. He's the first mutant. I want to say
he's Marvel's first mutant, and he also will be the first mutant in the MCU.
Okay. And they're going to introduce it here. Do you think?
It's pretty much.
He was a Fox-owned character prior to this.
He wasn't. Though.
He wasn't.
Yeah, they couldn't. These rights were all weird.
Okay. I get you. Okay, I get you.
But Ego also, I think, was under Universal, and they got that for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So,
right.
But he wasn't a mutant. Namor is pretty much like Aquaman, but he can fly.
He can fly.
Oh, okay.
He can fly. He can fly.
So we don't know anything. So where's the original? Who ran with this story?
See, Lumen Nerdy is the source, and some of the sites are picking up on it.
What sites are picking up on it? Let's
Empire Online. I usually trust.
Okay.
They're okay on that one. You know, I know that this is a rumor right now, but it's one of those rumors, Ken, where you look at Endgame.
The rumors get rumors get you excited too.
They get you excited.
Ooh.
I just think that Namor will be a part of this movie. That might be our way into the mutants. Ikaika, what do you think?
I believe it follows into the whole instead of just plot but theming, where we have Chadwick Boseman's not coming back, so it's going to be
right.
There's going to be a kingdom without a king, so they're trying to figure that out. And Namor is, I don't know if he's a king, but he's part of Atlantis, so there may be going to be war going against each other. So there's going to be a war of the two, but also of who's going to take the throne over.
Yeah, that's a good call, man. I think that's I buy that a lot, and I don't know my Namor stuff, so I put it to all of you. What do you think of this news or this reported news, this rumor? I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm excited to see what Ryan Coogler can do without Chadwick Boseman. It bums me out more than anything.
As tragic as that is, I trust Coogler, obviously, and this is what. Can I ask you to Marvel Clowns this question here?
Yeah.
This phase and the Eternals and all this kind of stuff, post Endgame, which was this long play, and it kind of wraps up. We got the TV shows, I know, and I know they're doing a great job. How are you feeling about when new characters pop up, and how would they fit into the Hey, Namor, where are you?
Yeah,
when Thanos
Namor
was here. How you feeling they're going to handle that, and what's your expectations, and how would you do that?
Well, Namor, if we go by the first. The character being like the first mutant. Sure. I think that can be the way in for the mutants coming over to the MCU, which was a Fox property. So Marvel has the ability, Kevin Feige in their sandbox, whenever they introduce that new character, even Spider-Man, a Spider-Man that we've seen many, many times in movies, previous incarnations, they bring him in.
It's a good example.
They introduced him in a way that just felt great.
Organic.
It
didn't feel... Because, I'm not the type that's like... Well, I'm saying that as a joke. I wouldn't watch a movie. I want them to explain it, and Spider-Man's a great example. Ikaika,
I think they'll figure it out, because you also see the Sorcerer Supreme in Endgame.
Doctor Strange is
in New York. So if they bring the mutants in, say X-Men is already a thing, but they don't want to show themselves because of obvious reasons.
Sure.
So they can explain that. I'm not too worried about it. I'm interested in how they're going to do it, but
it's what we celebrate in Star Wars, what we call the tip of the iceberg storytelling, where it's like you just get a little bit thing, and the rest of the information, if you even need it, will come later.
That's the way that Marvel has handled most, if not all, of their character introductions, I've been very excited about. I'm very excited, especially for this.
It's exciting stuff. This is a big challenge. I think so far, especially with Disney Plus and the shows there. I think Feige's proven this. This is not a surprise. Whether you love all the movies or not, doesn't matter. They've handled it well, and they know what they're doing. I get that. So I'm excited to see this new phase and how it can work.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. I think this rumor checks out because it's kind of been set up. So more on that later. Wakanda Forever is the next movie Ryan Coogler's doing for the MCU, so I'm excited to see how they do it. Over on streamlabs.com/goodpeoplegpa, Brendan Marr in here. Thank you for this, my friend. The Big Bang Theory understands nerds, then I am Mickey Mouse.
Right. That's so true. I got nothing against anyone on that show. Get your money, get your acting jobs, and make it. It just was
Oh,
it was such an insult to actual nerd culture.
It
was
a
bottled up version of it, broadcasting to Middle America. And I got another one, Middle America, but just to those. Hey, you nerds, right? This is what you think nerds are, right? And it's like it was just bad.
I didn't like it either. It just felt like nails on a chalkboard for me. Let's go into some Star Wars news because we're Star Wars guys, dude.
Star Wars guy, huh? Sorry. We got to unearth.
That's an old.
We got to unearth some of those.
Yeah,
sketches.
we do have to do.
So,
our days go 90.
Who owns those sketches?
We had a sketch that none of you saw because you had to pay for a subscription. More on that later.
Star Wars fan, huh?
Star Wars fan, huh? Yeah. Anyways,
yeah.
I'm looking at the news out there. News is a little slow with Star Wars, and that's okay. They're building to Book of Boba Fett at the end of the year. We have Mandalorian season 3 coming. They're going to start shooting. There's a movie with Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi. The future of Star Wars is bright. But then I get a little bummed, Ken, when I realize that Ewan McGregor and Pedro Pascal are sitting there having a conversation as part of the actors on actor thing that Variety does, and it's a wonderful series. I love that they're doing it, and it's just a small bit of news, but Pedro reveals he hasn't started filming Mandalorian season 3. And I was like, oh, God, I wonder when it starts.
Yeah, I thought that was common knowledge.
Was it common knowledge?
It's not until after Book of Boba Fett.
So they're going to actually begin filming.
They're going to skip a year, I think, essentially.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah. Because you got Andor and Kenobi are filming right now. They'll wrap in the summer. Bad Batch still going. That will kind of lead directly into, not directly, but Book of Boba Fett will be next, and then you'll get into Andor, Kenobi, and then Mando probably 2022 winter.
2022 winter, yeah, that makes sense. With Mandalorian, I know we don't, speculate responsibly. It's hard to speculate further outside of stories. I don't like to do it that much myself, but since I have Ken Napzok here,
I've heard of him.
It makes me want to ask you what's Grogu? What's going to happen? Where's Grogu going? Do you think we're going to go over to Mandalorian and be the throne of Mandalore and Bo-Katan and the Darksaber and Grogu's in the back seat? Not even the back seat, gone.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I could see him sitting out a couple years.
Yeah, and coming back.
Yeah, because the logistics of what you'd have to do with like Luke training him, or whatever happens with that, is a whole nother thing. Not that I'd love to see that. Yeah, but I think I think you can deal with that. That's a big. It's not a minor plot thread.
It's huge.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's a big one. That has so many implications to all the stories, all the movies, all the things we know and love about Star Wars and what we know ended up happening.
Yeah.
I was a little bummed to hear it because that is the Mandalorian season 2 was just one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
And the very end of that with Luke.
Yeah.
I lost my ever-loving mind. I cried.
Yeah, it should.
I cried.
I love when Star Wars gets you like that.
Oh, I leapt out of the couch.
Mm-hmm.
I had a glass of water on the ground.
Well, don't do
that.
that.
I don't know why I had it there.
Don't do that.
And I kicked it, and it was Christmas at the time, so we had our tree up with all the presents. And I kicked the glass. It shattered, and all the water went under the presents. And Julie at the time was like,
"Yeah.
What are you doing?" I'm like, and he hadn't even been revealed yet. I just knew it.
You just knew.
It's the X-Wing.
It just made sense. Something that Favreau did not plan in his writing. He just discovered in the course of creating that season. Yeah, this made sense to him. Yeah.
I love writing and figuring out the story as you go.
Yeah, I love that too.
and having those
something too.
Yeah. It happens.
I need to join the Reilly's writer room page.
That's right. You can get it. All those writers out there, go to patreon.com/O'Reilly Roundtable. We have a writer's room coming up. You're going to get to read the last 10 pages of my Jaws satire script. We finished. I'm done. All right. So, Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be a little bit there. Book of Boba Fett, though. Ken, your take on Book of Boba Fett? Like, what are you excited for it? Has Boba Fett been a character for you in the past, even though some people think he's boring? Some people think this happened and this happened. I love Boba Fett so much. I loved his return in The Mandalorian, and I cannot wait that we have a series. What are your thoughts on Boba Fett?
Historically, Boba Fett has not moved the needle too much for me. Okay. But I think he's the best designed character in a way. Sets that template for cool Star Wars designs. I love the stuff with him in the Clone Wars animated series with Daniel Logan voicing him. And so I'm taking deep breaths because that Boone's bourbon.
Boone's bourbon.
And then Tamara Morrison come back. I was excited, and I really did enjoy what they did with him in Mando this season, and was surprised that the Book of Boba Fett stuff, that old Bib with his Kenner toy got killed. And Fennec Shand, and I have no idea, which is what I love.
Yeah,
it
really took that turn. Yeah. I couldn't see Boba Fett in my wildest dreams going back to Jabba's palace.
Yeah, because there was I was really, talking about themes. I really was hoping Boba Fett, knowing when the rumors were pretty strong.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, great. If we can dive into identity and who you are and who he really is, clone or Mando or this or that, and they did in a way, but also in a way, Boba Fett confirmed who he is. He's a man of ruthless violence. He's a man with a strong code.
Yep.
And all those kind of things. He's complicated. And Tamara Morrison, I think, did a spectacular job acting-wise. And Mando, sometimes some of the acting doesn't hit me as much as it does other folks. And he I thought, was a home run all the way around.
Well, they need to watch their extras sometimes. That's what I feel about Mando.
It's like some weird choices even the leads are asked to make, and I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. I obviously love it. But he was pitch perfect to me.
He was. The pride he had for reclaiming his armor.
Yeah, which was weird because it was just kind of like, what? He's so clean. I've never known Boba Fett to be clean.
Yeah, right.
He took a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure so I think I'm excited by that. Again, I don't know, and I do love Fennec Shand as a character. She's so far so good in Bad Batch. I just don't know, and that's the thing. I don't know, and I love that about Star Wars.
I do too, and I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited to see Boba Fett come. I didn't realize how much I loved Boba Fett until, and I agreed with a lot of the criticisms on the character, or the idea that he just kind of flew into the Sarlacc pit, and that was that, and then became a legend just because he looked cool. I thought the character work was very good. All your points. Tamara Morrison was fantastic. So the fact that Robert Rodriguez is on it, the fact that we have so many different variations of story that we can sink our teeth into with Jabba's palace, what is he doing, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm
very excited. The last thing I want to mention in Star Wars news has to do with the comics. Have you read there's the Bounty Hunters? And
I have not. I've been spoiled on the reveal. In fact,
I was going to take my time. I wanted to check with you.
This is my stack. I don't buy digital.
It's your pull?
I support.
Oh God, no digital. I need the comic in my hand.
Well, it's not that I support my shop is Earth 2 in Northridge, California. So they've been during the pandemic. I've been mailing them out. I literally picked these up before I came here today. So the big War of the Bounty Hunters thing is in here.
It is. I want to check that out.
I was spoiled. I do know. I think we shouldn't necessarily discuss it by name.
Okay. I was checking with you live on air because I follow this guy's lead when it comes to that stuff.
Exciting. It's like Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm excited for. Look at Darth Vader.
The manager of my comic shop wrote a note. Chris, you're not watching. Read Star Wars in order, and he put them in order for me. I love that. See, that's why you go to a shop. That's why you find your comic shop and you support your local comic shop. We'll take care of you.
That's amazing. This is what I'll do. The latest, what is it? The War of the Bounty Hunters?
It's a big crossover event. And some of those Star Wars comic crossover events have not worked for me. The Screaming Citadel one was my least favorite Star Wars recently, but other stuff works for me very well.
This retelling is a retelling of Shadows of the Empire. I believe it takes place in that time period.
It's digging in the underworld, and some of the reveal that reveal we were not talking about is one of my favorite new characters. So I'm excited to see what they might be doing with that. But so I don't gravitate towards the underworld stuff as much as other folks, but it's an important part of the Star Wars story. Because under the oppression of the Empire, the galaxy saw the criminal underworld rise to great power, and power that people wanted to return to the Zygerians who were slavers in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. They've already shown up, and they're like, we're here to come back into power, and we can under the Empire. Well, now we got the New Republic. What's the criminal underworld going to do when they run up against the New Republic? And what does the New Republic do? Because as we've seen in Mandalorian, it's hard. Winning and ruling are two different things. Thank you, Tywin Lannister. Thank you for that valuable lesson. I love I love that's what I love about Book of Boba Fett is what will the criminal underworld do in this New Republic era, and what will the New Republic do to answer the call?
I love that idea.
That's exciting stuff for me.
That is exciting for me. So we'll leave it there. Go out, check out your latest comics pull list. Go to your local comic book store. Support the actual physical comics. I believe in that wholeheartedly because most comic shops around here, Ken, are like privately owned mom and pop shops. They just love it.
Yeah, there's two locations in L.A. Cardangelo owns a spot. There's one in Sherman Oaks, one in Northridge. This was by my old work locations when I went there. Jason Inman's got his comics on sale there.
Yeah,
he and
nice.
Ashley. Ashley used to work at this shop,
right?
And the Earthy shop. So, but and it's just fun, man. Go connect with comics. Get the whole story, man. Get the origin story you want from your favorite MCU stars, right in your hand.
Find out where Superman came from at your local comic book store.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everybody that has sent in super chats and or Streamlabs.
That's
we really
how much
appreciate
I spent?
it. That's how much you spend. Wow. That's a lot of money. I just saw a screenshot of that.
Luckily, I can write that off at the end of the year.
Isn't that great? We're going to go through the film bits, your latest news that is dropping, really quick bits of news that might be some interest to you guys, and then we're going to end the show, Reilly's Cantina, with my favorite part of the show. They don't make them like they used to. We're going to look at all the great posters from the Indiana Jones series and compare them and talk about how posters nowadays from studios suck. They do. I'm calling you out, studios. I'm sick of floating heads. I'm sick of photoshopped heads together with the villain's head over them. It's every freaking poster.
Yeah.
It really is.
And Star Drew, to answer your comment there, or your question, higher. A lot higher.
A lot higher.
Yeah, hit me with your posters.
Your film bits. Rob Zombie confirms he's directing the Monsters movie, a reboot of the famous series of monsters that are just hanging out as your neighbors.
I can dig.
You can dig that?
I can dig.
I'm putting these out there for everybody, and it's just a simple, do you dig it? Are you not liking it? What do you think? Ikaika, what do you think of Rob Zombie on the Monsters?
Are they going to be murderous killers or what?
I don't know. Rob Zombie's take on Halloween, I did not enjoy.
You did not enjoy.
No, I thought it went against the kind of the mythology of Carpenter and Deborah Hill's idea of a boogeyman.
Right.
Silent, deadly, like a shark, a force of nature, just the shape.
Popcorn
there in the darkness, there in the darkness. You don't know when he's coming. Thank you, Ikaika. Amazing. Rob Zombie was like, here he is. Here he is. Okay. He was more of a like, I'm going to, and he literally does. Michael Myers literally bursts through a door, grabs a woman, and pulls her back in. In the remake. And I was like, well, it's like, for me, as a huge Halloween original fan, I just lost a little nuance with that. So I have no idea what he's doing with the monsters. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be over your head, if he's going to. Rob Zombie has yet to make a movie that is not graphic, bloody, and a horror. Right. Yeah. Are you telling me we're getting the monsters in that way? Because I'm all in then.
Yeah.
If Rob Zombie does what he did for Halloween, and you have Herman Munster breaking through a door and punching and grabbing and killing, I mean, I'd be interested in that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But who knows? Okay, then we have Aaron Taylor Johnson coming back into the comic book world. He was Quicksilver. Now he's going to be Kraven the Hunter in the solo Sony film. We're getting yet another villain spinoff, Ken, from Sony. Not yet TBD on whether it's connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to play Spider-Man villain Kraven the Hunter, one of my favorite villains in the Spider-Man source material. Okay. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like the actor?
I do like the actor. Yeah. Kick-Ass, right?
Yeah.
I do like him. Yeah. What do I think about it? I am all for a villain origin story. Whether I don't know why we are obsessed with those kind of villains, but if the lesson, it depends. Like the prequels are part of an origin story of Anakin Skywalker. I mean, George was like, you know what? I was going to do 7 battles on 7 planets. I'm scrapping that because y'all need to learn the lesson that you're not picking up on about why this happens, and this is why you should not be praising, which is all you should not be, but specifically Sith, you should not be praising this guy. This is a lesson in what not to do. So if you're approaching it like that, and we can analyze why people do evil things, why people make these choices, or can you go back from them, I'm intrigued. I don't know this villain enough to know if it will work like that, but I'm on board, buddy.
He's a great villain in the comics. TBD, I enjoyed parts of Venom. I have no idea what Venom, Welcome to Carnage, or Carnage the Swimmer, or whatever it is. What is it, Kaika? These subtitles are getting me. I cannot remember them.
Carnival ice cream?
No, I don't know what it is. Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage. We're going to get a new villain in there with Venom. Venom's an anti-hero. If Sony is going into the idea of the Sinister Six, I'm more interested only if it's folded into the MCU and that Marvel is able to get a look at it, because Venom was hit and miss with me. I wonder what Morbius with Jared Leto will look like. And now we have Kraven the Hunter, and now I know they have a number of spin-offs there, all focused on Spidey's villains. It makes me feel like we're going to get a Sinister Six movie before we actually get the mutants in the MCU. I don't know yet, but I like this.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor, nothing against the actor.
He's buff.
I would have preferred somebody else.
Okay. He does push-ups.
He does a lot of push-ups.
He does a lot of push-ups.
More film bits. Where's my notes? There it is. Donnie Yen joins Keanu Reeves and John Wick 4. This is good.
Like this a lot.
I like this a lot, too.
I love the John Wick series.
I love the John Wick series as well.
You know, he's got a long, wonderful career, but, obviously he comes really strongly to my radar screen with Sharon Emway.
Yep.
And I just love what he brought to that role, including going, hey, what if my character was blind?
Yep.
And he can bring it. He knows what to do. He directed his action sequences in Rogue One. He's like, I got this.
He's like, I'm fine.
Gareth and whoever, I got this.
Yeah. Tony Gilroy in the back there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love this. I love this. This is great. Yeah.
It makes perfect sense to have him. And a lot of people were then speculating their hot takes without reading the article I saw, because I read the article, and it was in the article, it was like he's cast as a friend of
friend,
like that they've worked together or something. Because I notice a lot on Twitter, Ken, is that the casting goes out and everybody, oh, this is awesome. He's going to kill John Wick, and I saw that. I went, wait, he's going to kill John Wick?
I don't want it.
I don't want him to.
I don't want John Wick to die.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
Do you know this fact? Keanu Reeves, 42 years older than Wilford Brimley in Cocoon.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that makes sense. Wilford Brimley came out looking like that.
He's not 92.
He's not 92. He looks it. He doesn't look it.
Reilly.
No, I thought
I've had a little bit too much of our sponsors, Liquid.
This episode of Reilly's Cantina brought to you by Boone's Homegrown Bourbon. Thank you very much. Tyler Boone, go check out Boone's. It's homegrown. It's bourbon. It's here for your pleasure.
I haven't eaten dinner. Guess what I'm doing? Literally, after I have a lot of water and don't get straight into my car, getting picked up.
Yeah, Uber it.
You know what I'm doing? I'm going to a movie theater.
You're doing a movie.
Yeah, Grace's family's in town, and we're going to go see A Quiet Place 2.
It was my first movie back while I was down at my mother's. I went and saw A Quiet Place 2. And I got to tell you, it's so good.
Yeah, I do like the first one.
I love Quiet Place 2.
I love when, in Quiet Place 1 when Krasinski runs into that other weird dude with the white hair and the beard later, movie.
Yeah.
And he does the shh.
Yeah.
I love he does this. You're directing, Krasinski. Don't push your finger.
Just get ready for Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place 2.
More or less scary than the first one?
I would say
I
would say a similar vibe. I would say the first one in general is a little bit more scary because you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
This furthers the mythology of the creatures.
I'm excited about that.
But it carries on the story of character. Character again. It's care about these characters and less about the plot.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Because it's a family it's survival. It's man versus nature, and in this case, creatures, whatever you want to call it.
Because the first movie it's so good.
Yeah.
But because the way the first movie ends with the, I kind of in part of my head want the second movie to be nothing but, and some music kicks in, and it's just her shotgunning aliens for an hour. I know that's not or whatever they are.
You'll find out in this movie. No spoilers.
My point is, I am going to have a buffalo chicken pizza in the theater while watching this movie.
It is a happy day. Those were your film bits for you here on Reilly's Cantina. Now let's look at the posters that we love. They don't make them like they used to. We're going to look at our favorite posters from the Indiana Jones series, and then we're going to get the hell out of here, as Josh Macuga likes to say after videos that make me smile. So, Ikaika, let's go ahead and pull up some famous. So these are the originals, Ken. These are the ones that I pulled up that I found online. The originals that I saw. The middle one being Temple of Doom, the one that I saw in theaters that I got really excited about. I believe I saw this when I was walking into the theater to see Return of the Jedi. Right. And this was was being advertised.
Remember, movie news used to be what you posters in the lobbies.
Right. I had no idea this was coming.
They made another Indiana Jones film?
And that's what I love about that middle poster. Now, the first one is an all-time great. I have it framed. It sits behind my desk. Yeah. The third one, another all-time great. Drew Struzan across the board, my favorite creator of posters ever. And I know there's some floating heads there, but we get some action. We get some scale. We get some hints of the story. And that's what I love about a good poster. That middle one is still my favorite of the Indiana Jones posters. I don't know what it is.
The
second one, Temple of Doom.
You're not wrong. I'll tell you what, you're not wrong. I think that is the best of those bunch. The Raiders one, I mean, they're all Struzan, right?
They are all Struzan.
You know, Brian Ward is the Drew Struzan of our time.
He really is.
He just doesn't. We need to have convinced someone at Lucasfilm to hire him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. Oh, this is.
Let's go to the next one. So we're going to go in order. This is the original one sheet that was put in theaters, and our good friends at Drama 34 have an original one of these up, and it's like distressed, and it's mounted, and it's up in their office. Yeah. I just love this, and it's like the image of Harrison Ford. The Raiders of the Lost Ark, what a title. Indiana Jones, the new hero from the creators of Jaws and Star Wars.
I mean, could you imagine?
That was me as a kid seeing that. Jaws and Star Wars is their next movie, is this. I'm all in. It's a great poster. Real quick, Brian Jackson, Mr. McClunky. Cheers. Yes, support locally. Road trip last weekend to Walla Walla to see a friend and stop by a local comic shop.
Walla Walla, Washington.
Great to be out and about.
How close is that to Seattle, Mr. McClunky? Yeah. I only asked because you might need to know soon.
Oh, I like that. That's a tease. Ooh, are you really? I might have to go with you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sheila Toner also with a super chat. Sheila, so good to see you. I have seriously missed you guys these last few weeks. Been working my tail off and haven't made many live shows. All my love to the GPA fam. Thank you, Sheila, so much for that. We really appreciate all your donations and everything that comes our way here at the Good People Association. All right, Ikaika, hold on real quick. We have a Streamlabs coming in from Chris Skywalker Doman. And it's for Ikaika. Sorry, Ikaika.
Can I read this one? Can I read this one?
Read it.
For Ikaika. Fee, fi, fo, funk. I smell a scared Hawaiian hunk. Be he juiced or be he squeezed, I'll end these Jurassic movies. Love the show, guys.
I love this. Chris Doman, my friend, taking on the Hawaiian hunk in my little Patreon trivia show happening after those on my Reilly Roundtable Patreon. Every Tuesday we do a trivia hang, and you scrimmage against me, but then we also have people go up against each other. Ikaika is trying to hold on to the... You've beaten me. You've beaten so many people on my Patreon.
This will be my fourth match. I'm 3-0.
You're 3-0.
Yeah.
To Doman saying that I'm scared, you're the one... So normally it's you pick two movies, they pick two movies. The fifth movie is... No one knows.
No one knows. Except this
The
time.
fifth movie, he wanted to know what it was because he had to study for it instead of being surprised. So
right. That's the part of the thing. We do those matches every Tuesday. If you want to check it out over the Patreon, patreon.com/Reilly.
I'll do that for you. I'll do that for you. Yeah. Doman, let me tell you something, brother. You know inside your heart that you're scared of everything I've accomplished. And I'm not taking anything away from what you do. But you've studied and studied and studied, but the Hawaiian hunk is going to run all over you. Because when you get in the ring with me, you know that you can't match up. In your heart of hearts, you feel with each pump of your heart that you will never catch me. You're good, but I'm great.
Oh, well, that's a masterclass right there.
Use that Hawaiian.
You didn't write that down. You didn't have that memorized. You just did that.
No wrestling promo should ever be written down.
Yeah.
This is why I don't do promos.
I love that. This is why I don't do. Oh, God. Do a promo for your Schmodown match, Reilly. You're gonna. lose. Hard. Anyways, let's go. Okay, so I pulled up the Spanish version of Raiders of the Lost Ark because this is a... this was one of those that
that's
I remember seeing. So basically, guys, I've just been pulling some of my favorite posters.
It looks Photoshopped.
It looks Photoshopped, but this is a real thing. I found this. You can buy this thing mounted and framed for $3,000 on this site. I found it's an original.
I would love if someone would buy that and send it to us.
That is a great. It's so random. Predatore della Arca Perduta. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's such a great poster. It shows that Raiders of the Lost Ark not only captured the imagination of the States, but it went it went globally. It became a global thing. And it became a franchise, thanks in no part to George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Denholm Elliott, a young Alfred Molina.
John Rhys Davies, the whole
John Rhys Davies as well. I love that one. Okay, what do we got next? Here we go. The original. So this is, we had the first one sheet.
Yeah, right.
But now this is the official.
This the actual poster?
This is the actual
teaser
one.
poster?
That's the teaser poster.
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I do love it. You get some story from it. You get a little bit of action. You get Mola Ram in there. And the tagline that has always stuck with me, if adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones. Love that. What do we got next?
Love it.
Yep. And now we're back to Last Crusade. And
go.
this is the one I'm talking about. The man with the hat is back, and this time he's bringing his dad. That probably is just a publicity from Raiders.
Love it.
And they just put the new title on it.
Brian Ward says Struzan used himself as the body model for a lot of his indie posters.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Struzan is a great follow on Twitter, everybody.
I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah,
wow.
he shares some old work. He shares, all the stuff that he's done in the past. But he did share a picture of him using a whip in what looked like the driveway of his house in the front. And he took pictures, and then he would do his things.
What a guy.
I love that.
Again, Brian Ward, the Drew Struzan of our time.
Okay. Look at this one. That's a movie.
That sounded probably more cynical than you intended, but it was also
It occurred to me because I'm looking at this poster, and it's Struzan again, and it's the fourth movie. It's May 22nd, 2006, as I learned. I thought it was 2008. I blocked it, or 2008 it was, not 2006.
Yeah.
And it's, it's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Here's what I think. I've been meaning to rewatch this. Grace and I are going to rewatch this. I think you should rewatch this. And I think
I
we
will
should
rewatch
reconvene on a Reilly's Cantina and talk about, honestly, if there's parts that don't work, I will tell you they don't work.
Yeah.
For me. For me.
Yeah.
But I think we should revisit this.
I've been defending it since it came out.
I'm okay with that.
You're a good man. You're a good man.
It's the fourth best Indiana Jones.
It is the fourth best.
Well, you know what? But that's a damn good thing, right?
Yeah.
Fourth best Indiana Jones. Give me more.
It's one of those movies. I was at Blockbuster Video before it closed, and I'm looking and I see Crystal Skull sitting on in the bargain bin, $5.
Okay.
And I go, I'm buying this thing. I'm a completion. I need to have the whole thing, and I have popped it in twice.
Yeah.
That DVD, that Blu-ray. No, it was the DVD, the old DVD.
I think it's fair to say some stuff doesn't necessarily work. That's okay. But I'm with Ikaika on that spirit of what that statement means.
Yeah.
There you go. John Mariano says, a Crystal Skull retrospective. Currently, John Mariano's batting average better than the Yankees in the last week.
Better than the Yankees. I like that.
One more.
We have one more, and this is a fan one that I pulled.
I've got to take Baxter Potty, apparently.
You got to take Baxter Potty. This is just a fantastic design of the Indiana Jones trilogy. There is no fourth movie in this. And this I found thanks to a fan who created this, going by the name of Gabs, because he's his Gregzgorgs Domaradsky. And he's on Instagram. You can go to www.iamgabs.com. Check out his art. I found this randomly. I thought this was a beautiful poster, a beautiful set of posters. I want this framed.
I like it.
I want this framed. It reminded me of Mondo. It reminds me of so many of these great posters that fans do, that can do. This is great. That should be a thing. I mean, that should be on the box set that Disney is going to release sooner or later.
I'm not going to lie. Dr. Elsa Snyder popping out for me in this poster. Just great stuff.
Look at her. I know. That outfit she had. She walks in with the tilted hat and the
kind of
and the coat.
The genderless,
no arms in the coat. It's just around her shoulders.
Kind of a genderless kind of outfit.
Yeah.
Just kind of this and that. I just love it.
Yeah.
But
it's
Karen
amazing.
Allen, she's my gal.
Karen Allen will always be my Marion and one of the greatest love interests, one of the greatest actresses, one of the greatest characters in that franchise. You could argue, you could put Marion against Princess Leia in my mind and have yourself a conversation.
You really could. And Carrie, I mean, Leia, I mean, God, she's the ultimate.
First crush,
she's
everything.
the ultimate for me. But you're not far off. We just have so much more to choose from with Leia. But if just Marion and the lore around it, and Karen Allen's performance, I do not ever underestimate Karen Allen in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark is a perfect movie, and that is a perfect character there. And like you said at the very beginning of this show, Ken, the introduction of Marion Ravenwood in that Raven salon. Salon? Sure. Saloon.
There's a salon in the back. Someone's got to get their hair cut there.
Jesus Christ. In my head, I saw salon. It's such a great introduction. That'll do it. That's Reilly's Cantina. Everybody, thank you for joining us here at the Good People Association. Every Tuesday, live at 4 p.m. Pacific, we go here on Reilly's Cantina, a celebration of movies and Star Wars and posters. And next week, I'm going to be welcoming in my friend Coy Jandreau is coming into studio and is going to be a guest here on Reilly's Cantina. We're going to celebrate movies again. So thank you, everybody. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button. Drop in a comment if you're watching this on the replay. Tell us what you think. I'd like to know. I check the comments all the time, guys. What do you think Namor, that in particular, is Namor going to be the introduction of mutants into the MCU? That's a discussion point for the comments below. And, of course, tell me what your favorite Indiana Jones movie is. Ken Napzok, thank you very much for joining me. Where can people find you?
Hey, follow me. Follow me at Ken Napzok. If you want some Star Wars, in-depth Star Wars stuff, go to Force Center with me and Joseph Scrimshaw, Jennifer Landa over there. But don't forget to follow us over at the GPA, Good People GPA on Instagram and Twitter. GPA.fun is our website. A lot more cool things coming. And we're sitting on something. I'll say this. Signatures have been signed from the 4 ruling parties here, and we're waiting to announce something pretty cool.
Yes.
So stick around for that. So thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. What Ken said, big things are coming. Go to the GPA.fun. Check out our Bucket Club. So many wonderful things happening there for members behind things that we're doing here. You get kind of all access there. We're really excited to share some more things coming your way. The GPA.fun. Check out the merch, hats, shirts. More things are coming. We're going to be announcing them soon. And then, of course, tomorrow, join us on the Positivity Report at 9 a.m. Pacific. And, of course, again, the live show, 4 p.m. Pacific. We have, can we confirm it? Scott Mance. And Winston Marshall.
Guest host Winston Marshall tomorrow.
Yep, tomorrow on the main show
Big
here
show.
At the GPA Live. Check it out. Ikaika, any last words before you go, my friend?
Bye.
It's good stuff, Ikaika. For Ikaika, for Ken Napzok, for me, Reilly, this is Reilly's Cantina here at the Good People Association. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.